Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. This is Sumant. In this video, let's discuss about what is meant by list and what are some list methods in Python. From the name list itself, we can understand we generally use this word list in day-to-day life, in our general life, right? When we are going for a grocery shop, we used to prepare some list of items to purchase, right? So similarly, list is nothing but collection of elements, we can say, right? That elements can be of any data type, like it can be of same data type, it can be of different data type, or whatever maybe we can create. Let's understand how to create a list. We have already discussed about a variable, right? We used to store some single value in a variable. We have already discussed that in basics of Python video. If you didn't watch that video, I will give you the link for that video in the description. Generally how we will create a variable, right? And we're gonna use this equal to sign to assign something, and we're gonna store whatever we want, right? So similarly, this variable we can store only a single value, right? And list is nothing but we can store multiple values. So I'm creating a variable a to store, and if you want to store multiple values, right, like I want to store a group of numbers, right, some 3 4 5 6 7. If you want to store some values like this, like multiple values, you can't store like this, right? You have to store these values like in something, right? Some brackets or something we have to store in that. So we're gonna use these square brackets for creating a list, right? We're gonna use these square brackets and we're gonna assign some values in this. So that's about creating a list. And if you see, if I print this, you can just see whatever we have created, right? And if I just see what is the type of this variable, you can see it's a list. We have already discussed how we can slice or how we can access a particular element in a string, right? So in similar way, we're gonna access a particular element in a list using indexes. The indexes start from 0 and it ends at length of that list minus 1. So if I just check what is the length of this list, you can see the length of that list is 5, right? Number of elements in the list is 5. So in the index ranges from 0 to 4. It means length of list, number of elements in the list minus 1, it is 4. So if I want to access some element, you can just specify that variable and you can use that index to access. See, 3 is the first index, right? It starts from 0, we got 3, right? So in similar way, if I want to access some lost element, you can just mention that index. The index here is 4, right? So we can use this. See, I got like this lost element, right? 7. So even if you want to access the lost element in the list, you can use this minus 1, right, to access the lost element in the list. So that's same as 7, right, lost element. And if you want to slice, like if you want to get some part of the list, you can just mention like I want to get from index 1 to 5. It means index 1 to 4. It means I'm mentioning from index 1 to 4, right? So it will print from index 1 to 3, right? This 4 is non-inclusive. So you can see 1 is index of 4 and similarly 5 and 6. So that's about this slicing and how we can access some part of the list. So if you want to check like how everything, like how detailedly how we can access elements in a list, I have already created a video on like how we can access and how we can slice a string, right? So you can watch that video. Even for our list, we follow the same rules and methods for slicing and accessing elements. So I'll give you the link for that video in the description. And that's about slicing and accessing elements in a list. I want to say one thing, right? List items are ordered and we can change it, and it allows some duplicate values. What I have discussed is list items are ordered and list items are changeable, and list items, like we can allow duplicate values. First let us try to understand what is meant by ordered. So like if I create some list, right, I'm creating some list with random values, and if I want to add some value to this list, like if you want to add some new element to the list, it will be added by defaultly, it will be added to the end of the list, right? So that's called as order. The basic what order it have, like the first element is, first item is 1 and second is 4, 7 and 8, right? So if you want to add something, it will be added at the last, like at the end of that list. So that's called as ordered. And there are some methods through which we can change the default order, but I'm talking defaultly, like basically the list is ordered. And next thing is changeable, right? Changeable is nothing but, like if I create some list, if I have created a list here, right, and I can change these values, like like I can just remove this, and I can just instead of this one item, I can add some other thing, right? That's called as changeable. In Python we call it as mutable, right? Mutable, which means that we can change and we can modify that which we have already created. So that's called as changeable or mutable. And next thing is allow duplicate values, right? It means I can create a list with same values, right? I can create this same duplicate values, I can create in list, and even I can create, right, I can create a different data types, like I can just add like string data type, or I can just use like float, etc. We can store multiple type of data in a list. And also it can allow duplicate values, right? I hope you got an idea on what is list and how we can create list, how we can create list, and what type of data we can store in list, etc. So let's understand like what are some operations we can perform on list, right? In Python there are some default methods for operations on list. So let's understand those. I'm just using this variable a which I have created for list, and I'm just printing dot, and I'm just pressing tab here. You can see there is a pop-up appeared here. These are the methods which are present in a list, like append, count, extend, insert, remove, reverse. Let's understand one by one with examples. So before I said that we can add some elements to the list, right? New elements to the list. So if you want to add new elements to the list, we can use this append of, like I want to append some values like 10, I want to append to that list A. So if I just print this, you can see this 10 is appended to at the end of that list. So that's about this append function. Similarly we can use like insert of method, like a dot, like I'm just using a dot insert of. This insert method defaultly takes two arguments. First one is the index, in which index you have to insert the new element. So I'm just giving like to 0, it means that first index I'm giving. I want to insert some string, right, a. So if I just use this, if I just print this, you can see it's just inserted the new string a into in the first place, in the first index it has inserted. It doesn't overwrite, right? It doesn't, you can see it doesn't overwrite the existing item 1. It's just inserted, and the remaining the items which are already present, it just moved to right? So that's about inserting. So we are not going, it doesn't overwrite the existing items in our list. So that's about this insert thing. And I'm creating a new list, right? I will create a new list with some values like 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm creating this, and if I want to add this list to the existing list EA, like I can use this a dot append, or we can use a dot append or a dot insert to insert this list into the list A. So I'm using this a dot append of a B. If I just use this A, you can see it appended this list at the end of this list A, at the end of this list here, right? So so we can see even in list we can store multiple lists, right? We can store a list inside a list, so it's called as nested list, right? And if you want to access, like if for example if you want to access an element in this, you can just mention this is the end index, right? It's stored in, I have assigned this is the end index, this list present at the end index, right? So I'm mentioning this end index. It means -1, I'm just using -1 for accessing the end index. And if I want to access the 4 element, right, 4 is the first index of this end index, right? So I'm just mentioning this 0. You can see I can access 4. So if there is a nested list present in nested list, you can access elements of nested list through this way, right? I hope you understood. And here this append, or even if you use insert method to like if you want to add this list to the previous list, it will add this entire list to that. So if you want to only add this elements present in the list, you can use, there is another method where we can do that. So there is another method like extend of method, a dot extend of b I'm using. So if I use this method and if I print this, you can see in previous case when I use this append method, it just appended this entire list to this list A. But now when I use this extend method, it just extended the elements present in list B to A. So you can see 4, 5, 6, 7 which are present in B, it extended those to list A. So that's about this extend method. So you have to be clear, like you should not confuse in like insert with and append and extend methods. If you want to remove some element, you can just use pop off, a dot pop off. It just removes at last what the element we have inserted, it just pop that out. So if I just print again this A, you can see there's no 7 present in here. So that's about this pop. And even you can mention at what index you have to remove, like if you want to pop any element, any item present at particular index, you can just use pop off and you can mention that particular index. I'm just mentioning a 0 index. You can just see the 0 index is A, right? A string A, right? So that it popped out A. So that's about this pop. And even you can use a dot remove of method to remove the elements. So let's understand that dot remove. So I'm just using this A and this is the A list, and A dot, I'm using A dot remove of. If I just use A dot remove of, so defaultly it doesn't take index as an argument, it just we have to give what the element we have to remove, we have to give that. So if I just give 1, like now if I just print A, you can see this, it removed 1, right? So that's about this remove method. And if you want to sort, like if you want to sort the list like ascending, in ascending order, or if you want to sort the list using like in alphabetical order, there is another method available for that. You can just use a dot sort of, let's create an other list with like some values, some random values inside it. And if I use this, if I use the a dot sort of method, if I just print this, you can see it returns the sorted list in ascending order. From ascending, it in ascending order it sorted the list. So that's about this a dot sort of function, so it's sort of method. And there's another method you can use like sorted off function. You can use like sorted off like a, if I can give, even you can use like, again I will run this a, and if I just print this a, you can see this is the list, and a sorted of a will be useful to sort the list in ascending order. So even you can use this sorted off to sort the list. I will create another list like B, some string, some random strings, right? Like I'm just creating a math. I have created a random list, right? So if I use B dot sort of, if I just print, if I use this print, you can see it sorted the list in alphabetical order. So that's about this sort of method. And if you want to reverse a particular list, even for that you can basically use this a of -1 to reverse, right? This is the general normal list, and we can use this this notation to reverse the list, and or even you can use this method present in Python, like a dot reverse of, and if I just print this, you can see it reversed the entire list. So that's about this reverse of method. And if you want to sort the list and if you want to reverse that sorted list, we don't want to first we don't need to sort and again we don't to apply this reverse of method. Instead of that, you can directly use this sort of method to directly reverse the sorted list. So for that, let's we'll create another list. Like I'm just using a dot sort of, and I'm using that reverse equal to true. So if I just print a dot sort of reverse is equal to true, means first it will sort the list and again and next it will reverse the sorted list. So we can do it we can do it in this way even. So that's about this. If you want to clear the list you have created, you can just use a dot clear off. If I just use a, you can see it cleared all the elements present, all the items present in the list. So you can use that to clear all the elements. If you want to count something, you can use a dot count of, and I'm just using a dot count of 4. You can see the number of times 4 is repeated in this list is 2 times. So that's, you can count how many times a particular item repeated in a list. So you can use this count of method. So that's about this video, how to what is list and how to create a list, how to access an elements in the list, and how to slice an elements in the list. What are the methods for list in Python? I hope you got an overall idea of list and list methods. If you understood the video, like the video and share your feedback in the comment section, and thanks for watching.